Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Mr. Al Snow, former PGA professional and superstar. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to be back, Mark.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on the show. You know, we've had a long run, or a long time actually, since you and I have hosted the show together, but it is certainly a pleasure, and I'm going to get some insights from you on what's happening at the PGA and some other things. But in the interim, we have a couple of folks to thank.
Yeah, absolutely. This segment is being sponsored by Harry's Old Place.
All right. Well, Harry's Old Place is actually in Winter Haven, and it's just down the road on Cypress Gardens Road, not the boulevard, in Winter Haven, Florida. If you've never had it, Harry in the Bag is the best I've ever tasted when it comes to grouper. It's awesome.
Stuff. Oh, it's good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of best that there is, the Lake Mirror Auto Classic has been around. This will be the 14th season, and it's coming up in Lakeland on Lake Mirror. This is an event, if you're a car aficionado, if you just like a good time at a fun event, this is the event for you. It's truly, Al, I enjoy going every year, at least that I'm in town. I was not in town last year, so I missed it. Shame on me, but it is exciting. It's so much fun, and just the environment is great for families. It's great if you want to just go out on a nice date with your wife or whatever it may be. It's fun stuff.
In this community, it's one of those events that every year you go through and you circle those events that you have to go to every year, and this is one of those. Lake Mirror Auto Classic.
Well, just so happens, as mentioned at the top of the show, we have Ford Heacock with us, and yes, he is a gentleman that you've seen on radio. Yeah, you've seen him on radio, at least I do on my dial, and also on TV, but he has, I don't know, I guess had the honor of starting this event, which this will be the 14th year. And Ford, we're so excited to have you and to talk about the event for 2013. I mean, everybody gets so excited about this, you know, and they go, oh, what are the dates for next year? You know, you always have some celebrities associated with the event and some of the finest cars on the planet.
Well, thank you, Mark. It's very kind. Al, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's great to be back. And this year is going to be another big one. We're running way ahead of registrations. We're up about 15%. This will clearly be the largest event we've ever had. And we're beginning to stretch the streets in downtown Lakeland and make it work. But you talk about our special guest every year, and I'm pleased to announce that our guest of honor this year is a very important designer from General Motors. Mr. Wayne Cherry was head of global design for General Motors and responsible for changing the direction of Cadillac.
Wow.
And Bob Lutz, the chairman of General Motors, credited Wayne with saving General Motors because of the fact that he saved Cadillac. And the car that did that for them is called the Cadillac 16. And it's a concept car that was designed in the late 90s. And that car will be here on display at our show.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well, I remember as a little kid, you know, and when I say a little kid, of course, that was what, 10 years ago or something like that, but not really. But back in the early 60s, you know, the big old caddies with the fins, and I mean, those things, you know, we called them boats. Now the things were just massive. And, you know, they kind of trudged along, and then, you know, started that downhill slide. But then all of a sudden, they rebranded themselves under Mr. Cherry's direction, and wow, what a difference.
They did sort of lose their direction during the 70s and 80s, and Wayne Cherry, who I have a lot of respect for as a designer, and who I think history will treat very kind because of his talent, you know, envisioned a change of direction of Cadillac, more of an edgy, youthful design. Not that they want to abandon their traditional market, but it's designs really by computer. And because we're in the computer age, his theory is that these cars really epitomize what a computer designed car might look like.
Well, Ford, I know we're in the 14th year now for the Auto Classic. I mean, how has the Classic kind of evolved over the years, and you know, from the early beginnings to what we're going to see this week?
Well, the very first year in '99, we limited the show to Lake Mirror Park. And a few years later, we began to grow the show, and we now take over all the downtown streets around central Lakeland. And we've added a collector car auction, which our friend Marty Higginbotham conducts for us every year. We've added a lot of special features. A new one for this year will be food trucks. We'll have a row of food trucks that'll be on the north side of Lake Mirror, and they've become a real popular item around the county. And they love Lakeland and Winter Haven. They do a great job over here.
Lobster rolls.
Yeah,
Got to make sure you get the lobster rolls. Those things are unbelievable.
And we've added a vintage fashion show a few years ago that's taken on, and we get a lot of folks that dress for the occasion. They dress to match the car era that they're showing. So somebody from the 1920s might be in there. And that's a big hit. And we've added vintage motorcycles, vintage boats, amphicars, which are the little neat cars that go in the water. And this year we're adding antique bicycles. We have an 1864 Bone Shaker bicycle from France. This is one of these high wheeler bikes.
Oh yeah.
And so we'll have a few of those on display. So, I mean, there's really, and it's very much of a family event. This event is free to the community because of our sponsors and the vendors help support it. But we'll probably see 35 or 40,000 spectators in downtown Lakeland the weekend of October the 19th. The main show is on Saturday, which is the 19th, but we really open on Friday at Lake Mirror Park with the Budweiser Hot Rod Rendezvous. And we bring out all the hot rods on Friday night. We have a rock and roll concert, and we also have a new car show on Friday night. So there's a lot going on. And we've registered in excess of 600 vehicles. So there will be all types of show cars, from really old classics to more modern muscle cars and street rods. So,
Ford, where are these people coming from? I mean, this is obvious. I mean, with 600 cars, I don't think there's 600 antique cars in Polk County. There may be, but I mean, these are some of the classics. I mean, they're coming from throughout the state or throughout the country.
Well, we have a small number of cars every year that now are coming from out of state. And I know we've got a very nice car coming from Missouri. We've got some cars coming from the Northeast. The majority of the cars are Florida cars, or Southeast cars, I should say, Florida, Georgia. This is what I would refer to as a real high caliber regional event. This is not a national show like Amelia Island or Pebble Beach, but it's really just the next tier below it. And we really receive accolades every year from visitors because of downtown Lakeland and the quality of the park at Lake Mirror Park. The people come here and they say, wow, we had no idea this was sitting here just off Interstate 4.
Yeah.
And it is a good thing that it is, both Friday and Saturday night, you've got a little bit of different elements every day. And to go around the streets in Lake Mirror Park, especially on Saturday, I mean, you always miss something. I mean, there are so many great and really neat cars that you can't really see it at all one time. You've got to take your time and really get into it.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of variety. We might even, remember the movie Tron that had the motorcycles in it? We've had a conversation this week. We may have the Tron motorcycles here as well. So, I mean, there's just a lot of great stuff.
That's great.
Well, a funny story that, there's been an awful lot of different vehicles, different cars that have appeared in the Classic over the years. And I remember one year, the first year, they had the Batmobile there. And my oldest son, I can't even remember how long ago this was. It had to be, it probably had to be at the beginning, near the beginning of the start of this thing. And he was just like mesmerized by that car. He just walked around, his mouth was open, one of those things. But speaking of the beginning, Ford, this is a classic case, no pun intended. The event itself, there was discussions, and it became something that started getting legs, and we ended up talking about this. And I think one of the reasons it grew was an understanding that we had that say, look, and I saw this in the future as something that really could be massive. So we talked, and one of the things that Ford and I talked about was the fact that, look, this event isn't going to be just a one-day event. Let's grow it, and Ford agreed to do that. And true to his word, the thing grew beyond my expectations. But it really takes a lot of organization, but a commitment to excellence, and sort of like your business, Heacock Insurance. It's just first class all the way.
Well, thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah.
I would like to add that we've created this year a fund at the Community Foundation of Lakeland. It's called the Friends of Lake Mirror, and the purpose of this fund is to raise dollars to protect Lake Mirror Park for its future restoration and preservation needs. And I'm very excited about that, because that will give our volunteers and our participants a real purpose for this event. And the fund is already at about $90,000, and we expect that we'll pass by the 100,000 mark before the event.
Wow.
Fantastic. Well, and you touched on your volunteers. I mean, obviously, in such a massive event, in such a large event, you've got a lot of people that are helping you out. I mean, how many people help you to put on
Well,
this
every
event?
year we employ over 200 volunteers. I'd say employ, we utilize, we deploy over 200 wonderful volunteers. And you know, positioning 600 show cars in about an hour time is a big task. So they all do their job in the morning, then they're done to enjoy the show.
Great.
Oh, that's some fantastic stuff. That's but for the sake of our viewers, number one, people want to know where they can get more information to get a preview of what's going on, and then secondly, the exact dates and hours from when to when.
Okay, well, Friday, the 18th of October, beginning at 6 o'clock in the evening, is the Budweiser Hot Rod Rendezvous. That is our opening event, and then we'll have a lot of people. It's at Lake Mirror Park in downtown Lakeland. Hot rods, music, new cars. It'll be an exciting evening. Saturday, October the 19th, beginning at 10 a.m., throughout downtown Lakeland and in Lake Mirror Park are all of the car show activities, including the collector car auction. More information is available on our website, which is www.lakemirrorclassic.
Lake Mirror Classic. There it is up on the screen. So
lakemirrorclassic.com.
okay,
Great.
well, fantastic. Ford, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to visit with us. Looking forward to the event, as always. And best of luck. Congratulations. 15% increase, 600 cars. That's hard to believe. But right here in Polk County in Lakeland. World-class show.
Thank you very much, Mark, and Al, good to see you.
Good to see
bet.
you.